Welcome back to Krown's Crypto Cave. It is a gloriously hot, disgustingly hot, I should say, Saturday morning over here from Helsinki, Finland. It is 2 days before the day after tomorrow of the great holiday, the great Nordic holiday of Midsummer. So happy Midsummer to everyone out there. That was like the one time that I've actually left my apartment. Really, really fun. And some good times enjoying it by the sea in the classic Finnish way. Anyways, with that said, I would like to wish you a happy and healthy start to this Saturday, because why the hell not? This past week of trading was pretty damn difficult. Probably one of the more difficult weeks of trading, I would say, that we've had. I mean, realistically, since like mid-May on that Mitch drop, and then before that, it's been like a year, realistically, since 2019, in my opinion. Anyways, with that said, we have a lot to discuss here, mostly on the higher term timeframes, actually. We will cover the short term timeframes as well, but I do want to make a concerted effort to make this video a little bit more on the shorter side, similar to what we did last week, and then maybe tomorrow we'll do another long term analysis video. They don't have too much to update on top of that. There is there's two major things that I could get into that are of particular interest, but yeah, we can probably just cover them. Anyways, okay, what do we see as far as the Krown chain application goes over here, which can be found at app.krown.net, and I should also let you know that it is 100% free, with a humongous update coming out, I believe tomorrow night, actually, which is going to have all kinds of new, very fun quant data, which we can all nerd over. Anyways, do we see anything of particular interest that's different here? No. Bitcoin dominance still trending up, fear and greed index still trending down, open interest is still stuck at spot 8 billion, and we still see most shitcoins getting absolute shellacked on, except for Cello and Quant, and Decred actually over here. As far as the macro data tab goes, I want to see what the global funding rate's looking like today, and what do you know? We do see actually the most globally negative rate that we've seen, I think, really, as far as I've seen, I might even say ever, since we've been recording this data. Now, of course, there were times in 2018 and 2019 where this was not true. We did see, global negative rates below like negative 0.1%, that is. But right now, we do see consistently negative 0.06 for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 exchanges actually posting negative rates, and a lot of them way the fuck out there, which does deserve a lot of respect. Kati's making a lot of noise in the background there. Don't mind her. And let's get into the actual, should we get in the charts now? No, we should go check out the put call marks over here. Remember, the Junes expired yesterday, and that's actually a pretty damn cool one, because we did see that it closed around that, or it didn't necessarily close, but we did see that $36,000 level almost ticked right before that closure. So that was a good sort of bias handler, I suppose. And that's kind of why I do put a lot of weight on that, as we did get front run by about $500. But in this case, close enough is close enough. And realistically, the premium got crushed at that point anyways. So, that was, I would say, target fulfilled. Anyways, where are these getting rolled onto now? As we can see that Junes are now off the board. The Julys are not really getting played as much. You can see that the Septembers and Decembers are getting played significantly. And guess what? What do those two have in common? Just like the one that we just passed. Those are quarterlies, right? That is Q3 and that is Q4. Some pretty damn big pivots there. So I'm curious to see what we are looking at right there. Just out of sorry, I'm on July's right now. Yeah, just out of curiosity, July's look like $25,000 put strike probably does hold it, and simultaneously $45,000 the upside, which is rather interesting. Good morning, sir. There Elsa is. She's laughing it up. We had a little slumber party last night. It was good times. Anyways, oh fuck! Before I actually get into it, I do want to notify you that I've been releasing what are called YouTube Shorts, and for whatever reason they don't get sent to like your regular, I don't know, feed on this channel. I think you have to like be notified of them. And with that said, if you do want those, if you do want to be notified of those, I actually do have to tell you that fucking thing that I despise. Make sure to like and subscribe and tickle the bell, actually, because for whatever reason it doesn't get set to the same thingies there. And funnily enough, or maybe more embarrassingly enough, those have been significantly more accurate when I cover like the more short-term style in a more kind of streamlined way. Anyways, let's get into the actual pricing charts now. Let me make sure that I got all of my thingies set over here. There we go. Okay, Bitcoin. This is rather funny to me, and I will throw back on the drawn tools right here. We drew this kind of like red ellipses here in once Bitcoin hit the lows about a month ago, a little bit more, or I guess a month and a half ago now, in middle of May. And while it was more or less kind of a crystal ball type shit, it's funny to see that it's actually still getting very well respected. And I want to dial this back in once again and remind you perhaps, or kind of reiterate my thoughts on this. I stick with what I've been saying here for a long time now. The best case for BULAs is sideways within a range between about 30 and probably 40, maybe $45,000. I do think that's the best thing that BULAs can do for the next, month and a half to 2 months. basically most of summer is what I'd be looking for. If that were to happen with essentially Bitcoin not breaking below 30,000 bucks, I would look at that as a pretty damn good signal, and Bitcoin very likely has a good base to rally back on and perhaps even put another macro top later on, perhaps this year or into 2022. Until that happens though, Bitcoin is of course in a more precarious place than it is not. It's very close to Goblin Town right here, but as you can see, as long as we're not getting daily closures, I would say below about 31,000 bucks, 4-hour closures below 30,300 bucks, which we'll cover soon enough, or weekly closures below 32,000 bucks, I would say that, you know, BULAs still are holding on by tooth and nail. Now, this, don't get me wrong, does not look good. Does not look like the picture of health and fitness. There are many things wrong with this. Hey, first and foremost, the easiest one and the most powerful one actually too. Trend down. It's fucking down, man. And guess what? We just confirmed another lower high yesterday, in fact, as this turned into a 3-line strike instead of 3 white soldiers, which is rather funny. But with that in mind, well, how do we kind of chart this out? I mean, here's your low, here's your high, here's your lower low, here's your lower high. Boom, we got a downtrend. Daily trends on Bitcoin have actually been incredibly powerful. Yes, we did have a fake out, I guess like a week ago, right around here. But for the most part, 90+% of the time, if you see a daily reversal, it is almost always going to get play in my experience, especially in Bitcoin land. In traditional land, it's not necessarily the same thing. It's probably more like the weekly time frame. But as it stands right here, I would give BULAs a chance. And guess what? Where do we have the bottom side triangle band coming in today? Again, Saturday, a little bit of a weekend day, which typically do not like for, personally speaking, I do not trade over the weekends unless it's like the most obvious signal, the obvious, you know, area of all time, which doesn't really happen too often. But I'd be looking at 30,300-ish region, which by the way, would be kind of my line in the sand for the 4 hours. So we'll go over here now and let's cover up what we spoke about yesterday, actually on the short and also a little bit on yesterday's video. So while yesterday I was looking at, let me actually bring it up right here. We were looking at still potential Wyckoff accumulation schematic. This is going to be negated now. This is no longer available. This is no longer the main thing. And you cannot say that this is Wyckoff accumulation, in my opinion, and say it with a straight face. That has been negated as of yesterday. What you would have been looking for yesterday on a Wyckoff spring, well, assuming that we did have a spring there, which I do believe we did, or at least you're looking at it from that perspective, you'd have expected a back test down to our 33.7 level from yesterday's video, and you would have expected a low to be printed there. And I even came back on that short video a little bit later and I said, yeah, maybe we even see this come down a little bit lower than that. That was about 30, I think it was about 33,000 bucks right here. And if we break that, well, it's going to go back down to about 31.5. So as you can see, you know, this signature was destroyed on that move right there. You would have expected a bit of a higher low right there and worked its way out, essentially kind of producing a little bit of a, you know, somewhat bear trap. But we didn't get that. In fact, we got quite the opposite, in fact. So overall, that is no longer a topic of conversation. I do not think that you can say this is that this is Wyckoff accumulation. There are a few other schematics as well, which I'm sure people will kind of put the hopium drills on. But the big thing here is that you don't come back down and fucking take out that low after putting in the low for your spring. That is a big no-no. So that, again, does not mean, at least in my opinion, does not mean that it's fully over for the BULAs here. You know, I'd still kind of remain a little bit more measured and calm in the background, as you know, you should always be, especially if you are a trader. You probably shouldn't really be caring about the actual direction of this, just your signals that give you a bit of an edge on this price action. If you're an investor, well, it's probably just best time to be doing something else. So I actually uploaded a video about this in the program a while ago in the market dynamics section, and it essentially kind of put a little bit of a different spin on Wyckoff theology. And in this case right here, I do kind of stick with it. Again, looking at this red ellipses down here, I'd be looking for something similar to this. God damn it, turn it off. Anyways, I'll make sure to pull this one down because that one's not standardized for this time frame. But ultimately, you know, again, as long as Bitcoin kind of does something like this, I do give it the benefit of the doubt, and I do think that BULAs still have a chance. The second that one of these three things happens that I'm about to speak about is the second that this is, you know, goes fully by the wayside. There is, you know, there's only tickets to Goblin Towns after that, is what I'd say would be this. So first and foremost, if we are going to be using a short-term time frame like a 4 hour, I would say a 4 hour dildo closure below our 30,300-ish level right here would do it for me. We're going to be looking at new lows, you know, very likely coming down to 27,000 bucks. I don't even even know at this point if there's going to be a bounce at 27,000 bucks, because you can look at what happened on the 22nd of June as a bit of a front run of that. And if we do come back down around there, I imagine it's going to get run over like a train, and we do see a straight move to 25 or 23,000 bucks. And because everyone's kind of looking at the same levels right now, right? And what typically happens when everyone's looking at the same levels is you either get run over or you get front run. We already got the front run right here. I think next time is the run over. Now, of course, 4 hour, I would not put on as much weight as like a daily or especially a weekly. These are higher term timeframes, and we are talking about a big move here. So if I was using a daily, what would my level be? That one's a little bit easier. It would be more or less right around about 31,000 bucks, actually a few ticks below there at about 30,850-ish region. And then the most important one and the most obvious one, and the one that would mean the most, of course, too, would be the weekly. And if we get any sort of a weekly closure below 32,000 bucks, I mean, there's just no... It's Goblin Town or fucking bust, baby, is what I'm trying to say. Now, of course, we do have the closure for CME already in the books here too, and this is not the healthiest looking, by the way, not the healthiest looking, I would say. So I would express a bit of concern. And of course, the CME chart, as we looked at yesterday, was a bit more of a harbinger of death and despair, I suppose, as we did get a clean rejection of the 200-cent moving average right here and back down. Now, of course, again, we do not see that CME is obviously not trading over the weekend, so I would remain a little bit more vigilant for spot price action. But if we do get one of those three things, I would be looking for those further south targets. Again, it's going to be the same thing that pretty much everyone's looking at. I'd be looking somewhere around about 23 to 25,000 bucks right here. Do I have it on this chart? No, I don't. Maybe it's on this chart. Nope. Is it on this chart? Where the fuck did I put this goddamn chart? Hold on, it's got to be around here somewhere. Maybe I put on this one. Yeah, here it is. Okay, so this is CME right here. And I put on a Fibonacci extension here, of which I also measured up with these measure moves. A little bit, some more aggressive, some more conservative. Now, we already hit the conservative one, actually. In hindsight, I did forget to go back to this the other day when we actually had that trap about what was it, like 3-4 days ago. Whoops, wrong button right there. Let me just pull this back. I had to hold the shift key down, but yes, that actually did get it rather well, which is kind of funny in hindsight. I completely missed that, actually. Anyways, the bigger one and the more powerful one is actually pointed down, more accurately said, pretty much all the way down to the last major CME gap, actually, which would be 24,000 bucks, we could call it, right around the 2 spot 414 and the 2 spot 272, which are two pretty damn big ones. And I would be looking for a bit of a short-term range there at the very least, something like this, as you can see, anywhere in this little blue box that we'll throw right down around here. Something like that is what I'd be looking for. I would be looking for a bounce around there. Does the bounce get faded or not? I don't have a crystal ball to tell you that, but if it does get faded and we do start to work our way down below about 23.5, I'd be looking at the next major level, of course, about 19,000 bucks. And then below there, well, it's too wrecked to fucking care, as you're probably going to see targets down to like 14 or 15,000 bucks. Again, we're getting way ahead of ourselves right now. I don't think it's appropriate to say that that's like happening exactly from this precise moment, but I do think it is rather concerning that we do have a death cross actually right on the board right there, and that is I would say confirmed. Technically speaking, you want to see tonight's closure as well, but a lot of the time you'll see a test up into, your more lower period moving averages in this case after consolidation, like your 10 simple or your 21, a rejection, cross down, and usually sends it after that. So, another thing that's a little bit more on the concerning side right here. Okay, but let's talk about what would the Bulas be wanting to do essentially today, that being Saturday. Well, looks like we already got our little bit of our upside try right there. Now we do have a little bit of a low side structure going on here. Of course, let me actually pull up a fresh chart, or is this a fresh chart? No, it's not. Do I have a fresh chart right here? I do. Hey, it's Finex. I never use this one anymore. Okay, so we have obviously our hourly low right there. We have our new hourly high right here. You could probably use the wick high in this case, or a closing time, pretty much one in the same, or not one in the same, but of equal value in my opinion. And if we do take out the last hourly high, just tick above it about 32.7, or close close an hourly dodo above this last closing high right here, more or less 23.350 it looks like. Let's just say 23.4 to make it easy. Then I would be looking for Bitcoin to pop back up, give another try towards about 33.5, maybe 34,000 bucks, and keep the Bulas hopes alive for a little bit longer. I absolutely hate this price. This just looks so sloppy right there. Anyways, see what momentum oscillators are saying right now. Let's see if they can help the little cone out, the one cone to rule them all. We actually do see that BBWP is trending down right now, which is rather interesting because I would suggest that we are seeing a bit of contraction, which does imply consolidation. Consolidation on the low is typically not a healthy thing, but that's typically not how you actually break your lows. You want to see volatility start to trend up into those moves. We don't necessarily see that right now. What about the 4 hour? What are we looking at right here? Looking like a nasty rejection thus far. Looking like a very nasty rejection. By the way, hidden bearish divergence did get confirmed on that high, as did the 12 hour, I believe. Yeah, and that's what we spoke about on the short video. Both that and the bearish engulfing that we did put in right around there. Jesus Christ, man, that actually did do volume down there. That is a little bit concerning. Anyways, let's see. I do want to see what this looks like on my momentum oscillator chart. Let's see what we got going on over here. And let's see, 33,000 bucks is a magical number for 4 hour stokes to pop back up. That would, again, 33,000 and actually some odd change. 3 hours showing what? 31.6. So actually right around there right now. Technically we are above that, although very much questionable with how much time to go. About 2 hours, 13 minutes. A lot can happen between then. Buy hourly is showing what? 31,650. Again, right around there, and closing, yep, about an hour and 13 minutes as well. So not anytime soon, at least within the concept of this video. And we got the hourly closing in 13 minutes and in about 13 seconds. And this one actually looks pretty damn nasty. If you remember when we spoke about this, pretty much during any trending moves, it's funny that the hourly typically gets things really, really well with your momentum oscillators. So in this case right here, I would say this is, at least good enough to probably test around our current lows, like 31.4, 31.5 region, and then hold your breath and pray to Bula Jesus if you want to be bullish that it doesn't actually break, because then I probably would be looking for a move. Well, it's hard to say over the weekend, actually, so I don't really have targets to give on like the short-term timeframes, only to the upside, because that's just a lot more easy. Now, here is the one silver lining of what happened in the last day, and that would be because Bitcoin did get this rejection right around 34,500-ish region, which, to be fair, actually, we did hit our target on that at 35,000 bucks. Then I would be looking at this as a bit of a pivot, and I would be looking at this as very likely to beget continuation up to the $39,000 territory. That would still fulfill the more medium and long-term targets that we based off that. But this now is the pivot for that, and until Bitcoin does that, there's not even really a talk of like another short-term, medium-term rally to put in the books. But again, I want to be very deliberately clear. Over the weekend, I do not trade. I have no interest in trading, and a lot of the time you see a lot of sloppy price action over the weekend. So maybe I missed the big move here to the downside. It's very possible, yes, but I'd actually be more interested to play one of those bouncy territories. Like if we get one of those obvious areas in the mid to low $20,000 territory, that's kind of where I see the next easy trade, so to speak. Although, knock on wood, it's never easy, of course. Okay, cool. So we've got through all of that. Is there anything else that we want to cover up right here? Do we want to talk about traditional markets really quickly? I suppose we could. Let's see how NASDAQ closed. NASDAQ closed a little bit on a downtick right there. I still don't look at this as, actually, let's go to the daily. Yeah, it's still going to close on a bit of a downtick, but I don't look at this as too problematic just yet. Again, weekly closed obviously on new all-time highs, and I still look for this to generally get continuation. We did hit our first target and almost, yeah, okay, yes, we did hit our first target right around 14,350-ish region. I would look for it to have a slight pullback from there, maybe even all the way back down to 14.2 to open up next week, and then try towards 14.550-ish region, and then play a little bit of a short-term consolidation right there. So do you think long-term, it's kind of hard to be bearish on a chart that looks like this for what it's worth. But, this market is getting incredibly extended. So when it does go for a 10 to 20% correction, which at some point I strongly believe it will probably happen very, very fast, and it'll probably be very, very swift, and it'll probably be very, very nasty as well. And it'll probably be very, very bad for Bitcoin and pretty much any other asset realistically, as this, in my opinion, is kind of what's propping up the general market. Here's the monthly. I mean, it looks even just more ridiculous. So again, it's kind of like Bitcoin at around 60,000 bucks. Like, we all know that this looks fucking ridiculous. Would I necessarily call the top at this exact moment right now? No, I would not. But I'm always going to call the top after the fact anyways, and it's about the trending move to the downside after that. But for right now, I mean, even the monthly is still powerful as all hell, with only a few days left in the trading month to go. In fact, let me just double check on that. Yeah, we got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are the only trading days left, so about 3 days. What about SPY futures? Just out of curiosity, same thing. Yeah, more or less same thing. So I don't have a major issue with this. In fact, this one even closing pretty much on the highs. I'd be looking for this one to get some more continuation. I generally stick with what I've been saying here for a while now too. Look, it looks fucking crazy, but I still have to be bullish on this until proven otherwise. I don't really have targets on this one, at least. I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't even have anything on this is what I don't have. So fair enough. I think I'll just leave it right there and just let it do its thing. I suppose if you are bullish on this, you are looking at this as some sort of like ascending triangle. I would say that it's a little bit questionable here given the volume signature, as you would be expecting, you know, a nice boost as it does break above your prior high of that consolidation. But realistically, you know, I'd just be generally bullish on this one still. And again, that does kind of help out, I suppose, the general narrative of all markets that are correlated with this, which is pretty much everything within the world. All right, do we want to check out Dixie really quick? Did Dixie do anything of particular interest yesterday? Nope, we did test back down around our bottom side lows from the week, about 91.5 bucks. Still, you know, could this put in a high right here? Yes, I wouldn't give it. I wouldn't be phased if this one pops back up around the current highs of this run, like 92.30, maybe even all the way up here towards 92.75. As long as it's below this high right here, though, I would say that this is just yet again another lower high. That is my disposition on it. But remember, we do have a monthly, quarterly, and bi-yearly close all at the same time next week. So a lot's going to be decided right there. Right now, I would say it's a little bit inconclusive. At the current moment in time, I would be somewhat neutral on it. The only thing that's a little more obvious to me is, of course, the bi-yearly, which is in a clear downtrend. As we do have a high, we have a low, we have a lower high and a lower low. Again, not necessarily direct corollary to the assets that we're typically looking at on this channel, but if you are trading Forex, it is rather interesting. And I'll just leave that right there, as I do actually, I really want to check out what euro dollar did, just out of curiosity. Oh, nice. Okay, I actually did close up on a little bit of an up note as well. Okay, all right. What else do we want to check out while we're here? Do we want to check out Ethereum? Okay, so actually, you know what? This would be a good time to check out a little bit of Ethereum. And maybe some altcoins too. The reason why I say that is because if there's one thing that's really making this, if there's one thing that's a lot more obvious, it's that the altcoins just look just awful. Just fucking awful, man. Just fucking awful. Here's Ethereum's chart right here, breaking back down below the 200, both 200s, both the simple and the exponential in this case. That is not a fucking sign of strength. And realistically, you know, if Bitcoin gets going here and this one comes back down, I don't really see too much holding you up from like 1500, 1400-ish region. Weekly is staying about 1450-ish region. Yeah, so somewhere down around there is what we'd be looking towards. It's about to give up the 21 exponential average, barring a $400 rally between now and tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And general target for that's going to be right around the 55 in this case. Yeah, we even got some phantom div on that last high too. So nasty, man. And most altcoins look like this. So, you know, again, if this is going to pull through, I imagine that like we're really fucking going deep into the what if drawer right now. But if Bitcoin is going to pull through, we probably see it, you know, grind out the $30,000 level a few more times, and altcoins are just going to get their value shattered versus Bitcoin. You know, as you see right here, and that would be a healthy reset as well. You know, if we look at Litecoin, I mean, Litecoin already went for the full retrace. It looks like, Jesus fucking Christ, man. Oh my God. Oh my God. That is something else. That is something else. What about Ripple? Just out of curiosity. Holding up a little bit better than Litecoin, to be fair. Kind of funny. What about yes, we need to check out Dogecoin, because this is the one that probably concerns me the most, as I look at Dogecoin as like a signature of the health of this market. And the truth of the matter is, for Dogecoin, it's literally having probably one of the best relative weeks compared to everything else. Now, this is obviously still not a good week, so to speak, but that massive wick below the 21 is not the worst sign. Now, this does look like a rejection to me. And look, if Bitcoin comes down, I do think this one will come down too. What I'm concerned with, though, is that Dogecoin is not coming down as aggressively as Bitcoin. In fact, it's coming down a lot less in its gain versus the Bitcoin parent, I do believe. So, you know, when order is restored to the world, we'll see this thing come back down, you know, below 10 cents, probably even below like 5 cents or so. And this will be completely undone. But it is a little bit telling to me that we still see Dogecoin, all things considered, holding up better than many of the things within this market, you know, things that actually have like development on them and perhaps could even be legitimate, right? But in this case right here, Dogecoin still keeping it up is just very bizarre to me. Very well. It's not that it's bizarre to me. It's actually very scary to me, because it tells me that we have a long ways to go. Perhaps this is going to turn out to the downside. Here's your Bitcoin pairing as well, and the chart looks even more ridiculous. This is on log scale, by the way. Again, this is on log scale. Here's what linear looks like. Okay, it actually looks the same, but anyway, still absolutely ridiculous of a chart. Which makes me really, really concerned. I mean, even the weekly's getting a phenomenal buyback, which is extremely scary. Because generally speaking, when you see the market reset, you're going to see altcoins kind of bleed out into Bitcoin. Bitcoin bleeds itself as well, but typically not as much. And then once everyone kind of gets their reaccumulation in and everything, then we can start to mark up Bitcoin first, and then go through the rotations of the next strongest ones until we get to typically like the actual junk. And I've been repeating this sort of phrase as well a lot of times on this channel, in the sense that that typically in market cycles the junk rallies last. It's like general knowledge. Anyways, I do think it's time for me to start to wrap up this video here. Again, all momentum oscillators on short-term time frames are technically down right now. We went over the critical levels for that at the current moment in time, but realistically, if you're trading the short-term time frames, I actually do think that it is rather well set right here, back above this high on the hourly at about 32,700. Or a closing high above about 32, let's call it 350. And yeah, I would be looking for it to pop back up into the $33,500 to $34,000 level. Keep the Bulas hopes alive a little bit longer, but this is a bit of hoping right now, to be honest with you. I mean, everything does more or less point down here, and this is a pretty damning chart on all higher term time frames right now, with the 2-day breaking below the 200 exponential average on last night's closure. 3-day, okay, if the 3-day closes below about 33.5, that would be extremely concerning tonight as well. And then of course we got the weekly and 4-hour and daily level set here too. So if you're not sure what to do, there is certainly no dishonor in not trading this, and I think I will leave you with that. We go over one more thing. Nah. Well, should we? Nah, yeah, we won't do it today. All right, cool. Yeah, I'll save some for tomorrow. All right, with that said, take care. Hopefully you're staying safe, and until next time.